Environment. We have a lot of activists nowadays that are deciding how the future world will be. And then we envision a future where environment takes over most of the efforts of the scientific community to be preserved and to be empowered in such a way that we can keep on surviving and benefiting from enriched habitats and ecosystems. The challenge is very big, and in schools we really must empower our students to have creative solutions and different ways to approach the possible solutions when an ecosystem is in danger. Most of the policies to preserve the environment are inspired by three different environmental philosophies. One of them is the anthropocentrism. What is that? Anthropocentrism is a philosophy that feels or thinks or supports that the human being is at the top of the pyramid and then can do whatever he or she wants with environment, exploit it without leaving space for the natural processes to regenerate or self-regenerate. On the other hand, we've got the biocentrism philosophies that would inspire those activists that consider the human being exactly the same as same value as any other element in nature. And finally, we get the holisms where Mother Earth, is like a living organism because it can regenerate, create life, and that is why it's considered, like an owned living organism entity. Having said that, that implies that the human being is damaging this living organism, and we are like a cancer. You can see a lot of posters how we are damaging the rainforest, and then they're represented like lungs with a cancer, like black lung. We feel that the future is in our students' hands. Having said that, we decided that the most capable students in primary education in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade could gather and develop a kind of different attitude towards environment through a project. It's like a service project that we started with Endesa Foundation, that issued the 9th edition of the Eco Innovation Awards. So it was a very good opportunity to get the children involved in helping preserve nature with the human being at the center. So what we started as a little path ended up with a winning position. So we won the 9th edition in the category of ecology transition. So the best thing we did was studying Kenya and the Turkana people. The Turkana live in very poor conditions. Each family has got like a herd of goats, and then they take them for pastures very far away, so they keep moving, finding better pastures to feed their goats. And one of the complications or challenges they've got is like children attending school. Think that attending school is the only possibility they've got to live that kind of life or just work in something different, especially for girls. Girls are, just like their future's marriage with whomever. It could be an older man, or it could be a friend of the dad's. So it's kind of a difficult life, especially for women. They've got a very high rate of pregnancies. Mortality is really high, especially because of the number of children they've got. That's the only future that seems to be viable for these little girls. So we decided that school is important, and schools are scattered all around the Turkana territory, so children can go. So these schools can have like 2 teachers and nearly 200 students. They don't eat fresh vegetables because it's very difficult for them to transport. So they have dehydrated vegetables. They have water from a well that's got parasites, so the children have to be regularly vaccinated or given medicines to avoid contamination. Another thing they've got is they only have one old CD player that is operated by a small solar panel. So all the students decided the way they wanted to help them. And one of the things they did was like, okay, if the school is very far away, how can we make the children, go even though it's very far away? So they thought of bicycles, but they thought, okay, they cannot study really well because they got only to teachers for 200 students. So they decided that they wanted like a generator inside the bicycle, so that generator could operate a little mobile with educational apps. That is one of the things they did. They also thought they cannot eat fresh vegetables, so we're going to build a greenhouse. That greenhouse had to be very specific because plastic is forbidden in Kenya. Also, it rains a lot. They got the flood season, so it was very difficult to think of or design a greenhouse that could, divert the water of the floods. The roof and then the shape of the roof had to be that it would just like drain the water better and everything like that. So finally, instead of plastic, they decided to cover it with cocoa fiber that retains humidity. So it would be. Then they studied also the type of vegetables that can be grown in that vegetable garden that needed less water, less care. So it was a pretty project. Also, the charity organization that gives money to Turkana people came to the school and then showed the students everything that they had not done correctly. So they said, oh, your greenhouse cannot have plastic because plastic is forbidden in Kenya. You cannot have that because the schools are really warm because they got like tin roofs and everything. So my students decided, okay, we can also put cocoa fiber, so to preserve it from the heat and strong heat and everything. So it was like a really nice thing. One of the girls created like a solar kitchen, so they did not have to cut the trees for firewood. So after all these 6-month period of thinking, calculating, so in the end they were very enthusiastic. They understood that the care of nature is necessary because we live on that, but they also understood that we can benefit from nature in such a way that it does not involve or damage the environment in such a way that's not, viable anymore, right? So we're happy because we won and because the students rose awareness on how to preserve the environment and how to help other people that are not that lucky in a way as the environment where the students live.